coffee. All right. Hey y'all, my name is Ashley and I am a collector and hoarder of makeup. And to continue to collect and hoard makeup, I promised I would make some content, so here we are. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions and show you how I got this absolutely like basic fall girl look, because that's really what we ended up doing here, with the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley palette. So if that sounds interesting to you, then sit tight and keep on watching. All right, so you already know what this video is going to be about, but here is the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley palette, and then this is what it looks like on the inside. So you get 15 shades in this palette, and 12 of those shades are going to be mattes. There is 2 pressed pigments in this palette, but then you also get a row of shimmers right here. So there's 3 shimmer shades in this palette. So this palette retails for $39, which is really impressive on the price point here. And then if you wanted to, you could actually get each of these shades for $5 each. So say you only wanted the shimmers, $5, $10, $15. So that is really cool. I kind of like that concept where you don't have to buy the entire palette. You could kind of buy 3 or 4 shades, put them in your own palette for a lesser cost. Now, this palette is inspired by the autumn colors in the Hudson Valley, New York. So mine did come with a Nomad's Guide to the Hudson Valley Foliage Trail. God, I hope I didn't fuck that up. And it's like a scratch and sniff, and it's like the scratch and sniff smells like fucking fall. But it comes with like a little guide on where to go if you were to visit the Hudson Valley in the fall. Here's my problem. I live in Houston, and this is not a problem with the brand at all. I live in Houston, so unfortunately this is not something that I'll be doing this fall, but I will keep this because maybe one day I will get to go to the Hudson Valley during the fall season and go ahead and hit up all these points. I mean, there's lots of stops for alcohol on this map, and that definitely sounds like fun to me. Let's go ahead and jump into how I got this eye look and my thoughts and opinions on this palette. All right, so zoomed in, up close and personal, and I figured we'd start with the shade Wine Harvest. So this is gonna be this deep wine red right here. This is one of the matte shades. And I'm just going to take it on a fluffy brush right here. I did prep my eyes today with the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas in the shade Fair. I forgot how much I absolutely love this eye primer. I was using the Suvia Beauty for so long and I am out. So I was like trying to figure out something else, and I recently made an order on Gerard Cosmetics. I did order another clean canvas, so I figured I'd whip it out, open it up. And I've been using it for like maybe the past 2 weeks, and I forgot how much of a fantastic primer it is. I also have it in the shade White when I want to make my eyes pop, or if I'm doing like a cut crease. I tend to carve out my lid with a white primer, but it is a fantastic primer and I totally forgot it existed. But I'm going to dip into the shade Wine Harvest. Now, Wine Harvest, real quick, is one of the 2 pressed pigments in this palette. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in my outer corner and kind of just like, oh wow, okay. So this is only my 2nd time using a palette from Nomad Cosmetics. And the first one I tried, I forgot what it was called, but I got it from BoxyCharm and I really liked that palette. So I figured when I saw this one drop that I would go ahead and pick it up. But my gosh, is that just go on really, really pretty. And I really like that color. I'm just going to blend it from my outer corner. I don't really know what I'm going to do today, but I am feeling very fall, orangey, reds in that area, so that's what I'm going to go for. Gosh, that shade just blends out really beautifully, and it's like even, not patchy, just gorgeous. I feel like I'm moving a little bit backwards today, but I'm going to take the shade Cider House, which is going to be this muted yellow right here, and I'm going to place that in my crease. So you may have noticed that I didn't really post until just recently, and the video that I did post yesterday, well, yesterday for me, motherfucker, really? This is a neighborhood. Okay. So it was yesterday for me, but the video that I most recently posted was pre-filmed, and it wasn't intended to be pre-filmed, but a lot fucking happened, okay? Life just fucking happens. My son, my oldest son, got the flu, and then Sarah got the flu. So like the whole household was like this like half flu zone, half non-flu zone, because I didn't want the flu. Keegan didn't want the flu, and I definitely did not want the other kids to get the flu, especially my daughter, because she does have an autoimmune disease. So that is just like, no. Luckily, we did get through it all without Harper getting the flu. But I mean, that was like a whole ass week and a half of half the household sick, and that's stressful. And then on top of that, Keegan's mom had major heart surgery. So we're still all like, you know, going through all of that as well, and everything's fine, and she's doing great. But I mean, that's just like a bunch of life things that happen in one go. And the last thing I'm going to do while my kid and my spouse has the flu and while my mother-in-law is in the hospital for heart surgery is to sit down and film. Like, it's just not going to happen. And you're not in the right mindset anyway. But I am glad to be sitting here and doing this. That's also why I'm kind of late, you know, using this palette. But I really like this palette because it's just like, it's the definition of fall in this palette. So I wasn't going to not use it. And I recently fell in love with this cosmetic brand. So I wanted to use this and I wanted to share this with y'all, especially if this is a great palette. But so far, so good. This yellow is just blending beautifully. That is just life. It's how life goes. And I don't put sitting here in front of a camera first. I have a household. I have 3 kids. I have a family. And I have shit that needs to get fucking done. I think I'm going to take that yellow up into the brow bone as well, because it is blending really nicely. And I think it will blend really beautifully with that Wine Harvest shade. It is taking all of my soul not to play with like the 3 shades of green in here, because obviously green is my thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the shade Apple Picking, and this is this bright matte red. I believe this is also the other pressed pigment. If I'm wrong, you can roast me in the comments. But I'm going to take that and just kind of blend it in with Wine Harvest and kind of do it slowly to make sure it does look really nice together. But I have a feeling it will. So I'm just going to pat and blend. But before everyone got sick with the flu, actually the day before everyone got sick with the flu, I got to see my absolute favorite band in the entire world live. Like the band that I listened to growing up in high school and middle school. And the band is pretty popular. A lot of people listen to them, especially if you like the more rock and alternative music. And that is My Chemical Romance. I kind of feel silly saying that out loud because it's like, you're a grown-ass woman. Like, listen to My Chemical Romance still? I sure the fuck do. But I did get to see them live. I did cry like a baby when Gerard Way got on stage. And it just was a moment. And they just played such good music live. If they come out with their 5th album and they tour again, I will be going. Like, I was in the pit this time. I'll be in the pit next time. It was a blast. But if you follow me on like Instagram and stuff, you'll see that I actually go to concerts pretty often. And they range from all types of genres. I have seen quite a few like rock alternative, like emo music more this year than I have in quite some time. Just because we saw Coheed and Cambria in July, Dashboard Confessional in, I think, March maybe? And it was Dashboard Confessional and Jimmy Eats World. Jimmy Eats World, it was alright. But Dashboard was really good. Coheed and Cambria was great. Alkaline Trio opened up for them. And those were all a lot of fun. So that red is kind of, maybe I'm blending too hard. So I'm going to go in one more time and try to brighten it up a little bit. But there is a fine line of doing too much red and it does not look good. The next shade I'm going to be dipping into is the shade Fall Festival. So this is going to be this very pretty muted orange. It's also a matte. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the inner corner, blending into the shade Apple Picking and into the shade Cider House. God, that is a beautiful orange. And it just blends really nicely with the shade Apple Picking. Now I've got like the bases, the eye look that I'm going for on. I really want to deepen up the shade Wine Harvest. I just want it a little bit darker. kind of like my soul, but I'm just gonna darken it up a little bit. So just because of life going on, we decorate for Halloween like crazy people. Like we thought our front lawn was a haunted house type crazy. And this year is like the first year where it is like October, like late, like mid. I don't even know what today's date is. And we haven't started decorating outside, which is like, I feel so out of it. But I mean, with life going on, it's hard to make time for those things. But I did see a few comments on my most recent video talking about how I should film us decorating, and I think I will, because I'm really proud of like what we do with our front yard and what we do with all of our Halloween decorations. And I think it'd be kind of cool to show y'all how far out we go. Like, we go far out for Halloween and we go far out for Christmas. So I feel like it might be something y'all are interested in. If not, you don't have to watch it. I'm going to do it for myself as well. Stay tuned for that, because that is what I'm going to be working on all weekend long. So I'm currently taking the shade Fall Festival, and I'm actually blending it on the outside. I don't even know, how do I describe this? Under my brow, but over the shade Wine Harvest, and kind of blending it all together with the shade Cider House that I put under my brow. So to kind of just like make everything tie together just a little bit more. But I feel like I have like the most beautiful, like, you know, when you see like the most perfect fall leaves fall, like I feel like I have that on my face. I love it. Even though here in Texas, I'm pretty sure I don't see a leaf fall off a tree until like December 21st. It's time to dip into some shimmers. So there's 3 different shimmers in this palette, and I'm torn between using 2 different ones. So I might kind of use both. And that's going to be the shade Foliage Trail and Leaf Peeping. So Leaf Peeping is the more like golden yellow color, and Foliage Trail is like this beautiful like burnt orange shimmer. I really wish I didn't wash half my brushes, because I'm in this position where a brush that I would usually grab is not in front of me. So I will use, I guess, this one. So this is like, I'm looking for a flat brush, but I was looking for a smaller detailing brush. But those are all the brushes that I washed this morning, so they're not dry. But I'm going to take the shade Leaf Peeping on this brush and place it on my inner corner, and then just a little bit onto the lid. Not too much though. I'm also trying my best not to ruin the beautiful little design in the palette, because that would just be really sad. I'm going to take the shade Foliage Trail. I'm actually going to use my finger to see how this goes without hopefully ruining this cute design. Oh. And I'm going to place it in the center of my lid, but closer to my inner corner. So I kind of like the way that went on with my finger a little bit better, but unfortunately your finger does not get a nice clean line. So I'm going to take some of the shade Leaf Peeping, and right now I'm kind of blending it into the other shimmer shade, Foliage Trail, just to make sure it's a nice even blend, but also my line stays really clean. So I'm going to have to do the same with Foliage Trail, pick it up on the brush, and try to keep that line as clean as possible. Sorry if I've changed positions in the frame, but Keegan's really loud. So when Amazon comes, you got to announce what every package is. That's just kind of what's going on right now downstairs. So I'm a little confused by some of the orders, because even though it's Halloween around the corner, I've got kids, so advent calendars and Christmas presents are coming, because I like to get that shit done early. So I apologize. I was explaining my purchases. All right, so I think this is a good point for today's look so far. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this on the other side of my face, add some foundation, do all of that stuff. That way we can get on to the under eye, because I want to play with some of these browns in here as well. So just give me 1 second. So obviously I have finished out the rest of my face and kind of gone full glam over here, but it's time to work on the under eyes. But I want to go ahead and finish up the under eyes so the look is completely done. And what I want to do is I kind of want to play with some of the browns in this palette. So I'm going to start off with the shade Oktoberfest. And this is going to be like this darker chocolate brown. All right, so I'm going to try this with a somewhat fluffy brush. I hope it doesn't ruin my look. But I'm going to take the shade Oktoberfest, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of smoke out the bottom lash line. And just kind of tie it all together that way. Hopefully without dumping a massive amount of shadow under my eyes. Because I just found out from Sarah, see, my days get so smushed together. Like all day today, Keegan thought it was Thursday. And then me, I'm like, man, I know what I want to do today. I want to go to Target. Right? So it's like, let's go get the kids, take them to swim, and then go to Target because it's Friday. And I'm like, yes, let's go to Target. And Sarah's like, no, we can't. We got to meet up. I was like, what? Apparently there's a kindergarten meetup that I agreed to go to today. So I have to go do that at 5:30, and now my Target time is ruined. So slightly disappointed because I really wanted to go to Target. Why I want to go to Target, who knows? I just want to go. But that is not what we're going to do today. In fact, I'm going to show up at this kindergarten mom meetup, full glam, green hair, everything. Let's go. So they plan these things so far in advance that I like agreed to go a month ago. Like that's when I RSVP'd. So I'm just like, fuck. Probably should put that in my calendar. All right. So to bring in, like with the oranges, to bring in with like those orange tones to go with that brown, I'm going to dip into the shade The Great Pumpkin Patch. So this is like a more orange brown. So definitely like that, like burnt orange, but with like a little bit more brown matte. And just going to do that under my eye in the inner corner. So blending it in with that other brown shade. All right, so I'm gonna try to tie this all together by adding a little bit more yellow into my inner corner. So I'm gonna take Cider House and just kind of boop, 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 put it right there. Tie it into the Great Pumpkin Patch shade. Also giving like a little bit more brightness in the inner corner. And then finally, something I've been really enjoying doing lately is I like to add a little bit of color under my wing. So you'll never see me do a look without a very long elated, like black wing liner. So I'm going to take the shade Wine Harvest, and I'm going to take just the smallest amount and kind of like add a little bit under the wing and just kind of like smoke it out. Now this is not something that nobody's never done before. I see people who like have shadow under their wing all the time, but I always clean my wing up, so I never have shadow there because I use like a eye primer and I kind of clean it up. So I'm just like adding just a little bit of color, like not a lot at all. In fact, I'm kind of having to move my eyelashes out of the way. That was a really bad idea. But I'm just kind of like tying it all together. And sometimes to get everything perfectly smooth, you just have to keep doing the same shit over and over again. So I'm going to put on some mascara, black eyeliner in my waterline because God forbid I do it any other way. And I'll zoom you out and we'll talk about this palette. All right, so now that we're all zoomed out, I really want to talk about my first impressions on the Hudson Valley palette. So this palette right here is the definition of a fall palette. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm sure like you can see it. So this palette is just absolutely beautiful. The shadows blend out so smoothly and just so effortlessly, and there's like zero patchiness. This definitely makes you want to go and just buy their entire website. Not going to lie. This is my second time using their products, and I am thoroughly impressed. And then the fact that you can only get this, like this palette is only $39, or if you just want a couple shades, $5 each for a shade, it's fucking impressive. I cannot wait to dig into the green side of this palette up here. I mean, like I said, it took all of my soul not to reach in to the shade Farmer's Market and Mountain Hike just because, ooh, and Bed and Breakfast. Like, I love a good green, like light green, lime green, emerald green, camo green, all the greens. Like, I love it. So, in my opinion, I feel like $39, that palette is worth every fucking penny. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say thank y'all for watching. And so sorry that I haven't been here. Comment down below if you've tried Nomad Cosmetics before, and if so, what is your favorite palette from them? I might just go ahead and purchase it. So until next time, bye y'all. quite nice.